Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee meeting for January 5th to order. My name is Steve Havey. I'm your committee chair. To start off, I would just like to say thank you to Legislator Healy, who has sat in this seat for a number of years, and I'm pleased to take it over from you, sir. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Havey.
Here.
Mr. Rumfelt.
Here.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Mr. Sear.
Here.
Mr. Demick.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mr. Healy.
Here.
Mr. Stockin.
Here.
8 present.
Okay. We'd like to approve the minutes of December 1st's meeting. Can I have a motion for that, please?
So moved. Harris.
Mr. Harris, thank you. In a second. That would be Mr. Barnes. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Those are approved. I thank you. First up, we have our public defender, Mr. Carter. Sir, if you would. And welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Assistant District Attorney, Mr. Jones, got called away from court to be here. He'd asked to speak out of order.
That would be.
Get back to court. I yield my time.
That would be fine, and I thank you very much. Thank you for being considerate.
What a gentleman. The court agreed to suspend for 15 minutes so I could do this, so thank you everyone for the courtesy. I do appreciate it. And Happy New Year to everybody and welcome to the new members. Because I am on a pretty tight time frame, there's really nothing that stands out in the report that I think requires any sort of discussion or anything of that nature. So I guess I'll just leave it to, if you have any questions to me, I'd be happy to take them. Other than that, I'm gonna scoot.
Mr. Healy, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, how are you doing handling the workload there? You keeping up with it all right? You got enough help?
Well, we are one ADA down right now, so the rest of us have taken on that extra workload, but we are actively searching to fill that. Even when that is full, I mean, this is a conversation obviously we've had a number of times. It is an overwhelming amount of work at all times, in large part due to our newer discovery obligations, which is something we've talked about probably ad nauseum at this point. So I won't bore you to death.
Most of which is, at least in my opinion, was needless for most of the state of New York, anyways.
How freely can we talk here? I completely agree.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. Right?
I won't argue with you. That's for sure.
I just want to add, I believe that your office still needs to do the request to fill for the recent vacancy. I know I mentioned it prior, but I haven't seen one yet. So prior to any hire, that does need to come back to this committee. So just a reminder there.
Okay, yeah, I will write that down and see what we can do about that.
Well, I thank you myself, and I'm sure on behalf of everybody here, we thank you for all your efforts to deal with that menagerie of legalities that's been forced upon us there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all, and thanks to Mr. Carter for the courtesy, and I'm sorry that I have to run so quickly.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Carter, you're up, sir.
Yes. So numbers, as they have been, are up again when comparing to last year, when the pandemic and everything was shut down. But when I look back further, when I pull numbers from 2017, 2018, 2019, the numbers are actually lower. On average, this time, 2018 and 2019, we opened 1,300 criminal cases. This year, it's a little over 9. So I think that's good in the criminal aspect. I think that means crime maybe actually be down. But it's just good to see things going back to normal with more than it was last year. And the same has been said with the family court cases. There's been an increase since last year.
Okay. Any questions?
That's
Mr.
due to
Healy.
COVID, you think?
No, I'm not associated with COVID. I'm just saying we're up from COVID, but it's still down from years prior. I don't know what to attribute it to.
Okay, so you don't attribute the decline in last year and the year before due to COVID?
Well, I think last year was COVID, right?
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Mr. Jones, thank you. Oh, excuse me, pardon me, Mr. Carter. We'll
Thank
get the
you.
name straight
Take care.
without a name card. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Okay. Mr. Jeff Lucky, you're up, sir. Your name I'll get straight.
Thank you. I just wanted to highlight a couple things. You'll see on the December 15th and 16th, we hosted both the fire and EMS at our facility. Through the sheriff's office and 911, they've updated our CAD, the web CAD, for us to get information on our own. And so Ken came out and did a training with that as well. We had a couple, sometimes you've heard me up here before with kind of the gloom and doom responses. We've had a couple great things happen in the fire service. On December 16th, we had the Wellsville apartment fire. 8 apartments, 7 of them were occupied, 11 different people. 1 person was injured. Great from our 911 center to the first responder, Wellsville PD and the first responders that responded to that. We had a great outcome of that, actually. That person was rescued right away, taken immediately to Jones, placed on event, and within 3 days was back from strong. So the great save there, out of all the others, 6 apartments on the 2nd and 3rd floor, they virtually suffered no fire damage at all. It looked more damaging than it really was. It burned off the 3rd floor, but their contents, though it had a lot of water damage and various other things, they were able to retrieve a lot of their contents and didn't lose things on the 2nd and 3rd floor. A lot of those, one other thing, we had a great guy that I think you'll hear his name later on this year at our firemen's convention. A young gentleman was the one that got up and checked on the fire alarm system that was ringing, banged on different doors trying to determine where it was. Couldn't see anything, couldn't smell anything, but it still bothered him, so he made a second trip through, and he was our fire discoverer, and made the 911 call, and he's part of one of the county assisted programs. So for him to do all that was amazing. So I know he'll be listed as a Citizen of the Year award come our time of our convention. Again, great response from the Wellsville PD assisting with the people. And right on that same thing, I'll jump ahead to December 28th, had the same type thing, a 3-apartment complex. Neighbor realized it, called the alarmman. Wellsville PD was, of course, they were on duty. I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. They were able to rescue the person out of the apartment. They were transported again by the ambulance squads, along with MTS, is in Strong, was on event at Jones, on event in Strong. She is in the process of recovering. So we had 2 great saves in regard to that through quick actions by all. Again, the structure itself had minimal damage to it. So again, a great response from everybody. Staying on the same thing of response, last night, 7-Eleven in Allman had a fire. Employee did a great job, she kept the door shut, called 911. One of the responding firemen heard it, was driving by, stopped, grabbed the fire extinguisher, knocked the fire down before the fire department arrived. Another great save. The business will be down for a few days as they work on their boiler room and their water supply coming in. But structure's all there, and they'll be back in business. And I don't think any of the, we still got to go through ag and markets, but I don't think any of the contents of the building was destroyed either. So just have to do a thorough check and follow their rules and regulations. But great response from code enforcement, great response from 7-Eleven, and A+ is the owners. Also last night, Cuba, we had an unusual accident. Car went off in the median on 86, where Oil Creek is. Went into water, floated downstream, came on the other side of the bridge where the tractor supply is. That would be the backyard of that. That person was able to make a 911 call then. If he hadn't been able to make a 911 call or would have never been discovered till daylight, I'm sure. The water was just deep enough, it was at door level. Cuba did the right thing, they responded, I responded to get our trailer, and they also brought in our primary team, which was actually closer at that time, the Allegheny Rescue Team out of Cattaraugus County, which is a swiftwater team. But they were able to utilize a ladder and rescue the individual before they got there. So another great save. It's good to hear those good stories. Back on kind of the regular business, we've been challenged through Governor Hochul to deliver masks. We received about 20,000 mask N95s on December 23rd. There's been, and Chris can adapt to this too, there's been mixed messages about exactly where they were supposed to go and to whom, other than the general public. But originally it sounded like they were supposed to, when we were first planning, it was going to go to businesses before Christmas. Obviously that wouldn't have worked. But we have started handing those out through mass sites deliveries. So that already occurred in Alfred, and tonight is in Houghton and in Cancerega tonight. So there's other plans for other areas. We're also partnering with the library system, the Southern Tier Library System. They volunteered to deliver these for us to the librarians. So there's 15 libraries in the county. So Monday they would be delivered to the libraries. We are delivering to the towns that don't have a libraries to the town clerks. So that is going out that way. Part of the other delay in planning this, and this will be new to Chris because they just came, our test kits that were supposed to have been here last week too, to kind of be tied together with these. The home test kits you can have, I just got a text here like 15 minutes ago. They're here now. We still don't know a number. Just know we got a pallet. So we'll be able to update that, but obviously we'll tie that into these mass giveaways as soon as we can, definitely, probably next week. It won't happen tonight, but there's other future, we're still waiting on actual guidelines on that, because part of this ties into, as I've talked with Tyler, all the schools got test kits for a take-home for every student. We don't know what the schools did with them. They had the option of doing it then or reserving it. It came up to each school district of actually how they did it. So one of my concerns is that, not a concern, but if they used up all their supplies on day one, on Monday, with those, they're going to need follow-up test kits. So where are those available? And contacts of people with those children and stuff like that. So we're still planning that. Well, hopefully through this week, we'll see the rollout of that to see what the feedback from that is. And I know Tyler mentioned too, there's still not a good system to report back in to the county, the results of the test kits, the take-homes too. So there's a couple different things going on. But we will roll these out as soon as possible.
Jeff, how was the first event for the masks was at Alfred? How
Yes.
was that received?
They gave 900 masks.
So that's a big impact.
Yep. I'm using kind of my fire districts areas as coordinator districts. So that, and all the towns that touch that as well. So that would have been 6 different towns. They're doing another one on Saturday at Alfred as well. Alfred's a great community. They're always receptive to take on a challenge. So that was my test site. It's one of them groups you can just give them all I give them a package and they do it. And so we built off of that for the other ones as well. So we're trying to get in as many communities as we can.
Excellent. I just want to say that I'm so proud and pleased with the first responders and how they have responded to the various challenges that we've had, plus the citizens who have also chipped in.
Yes.
And that's really, really neat. I like that a lot. Any questions or comments for Mr. Lucky? Mr. Rumpfeld?
You said there's a mask giveaway Saturday. Do you have a time on that?
9 to 11. It's in the process of getting published right now.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Harris?
Thanks. Going back to some of these residential structure fires, thinking about relief for displaced people.
Yes.
Does your office have anything to do with the coordination of that kind of relief, whether it's food or shelter or getting everybody on the same page or?
Our first call is always Red Cross. So we bring them in, and they obviously give them relief. Right now, I just heard the amount went up. Don't quote me exactly, but they'll get a debit card for about $500 for each, I think each person, or at least each incident type thing, which was up from what I heard before. So they can use that to buy anything for their lodging, to replace stuff. They also bring out a little kit of things. So they were there for the 8 residents in that one, and also the 3 in the other apartment, and the individual last night that actually lives above the 7-Eleven.
How
So they're-
local is that response, that Red Cross response? Do they come right out of Wellsville?
No, they've lost their brick and mortar places. So my number one guy that always responds is out of Cuba, the Shook family out of Cuba. But it was a Cuban individual out of Friendship. But I'm not sure the exact number. We have about 10, 12 dedicated people, I think, in the county that respond pretty regularly.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anything? Oh, Mr. Healy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any issues you want to advise us of at this time that you think we ought to be aware of?
The hospital diversions is one thing that's hot on our plate, and that's one of the things we talked about. We started the hospital call again at the beginning of the month. As of this last month, it hasn't really happened. Where the local ones have been on diversion, there have been a couple delays, so it's been better that way. The dashboard, we incorporated a dashboard that Cattaraugus County developed. The dashboard gives real-time information every 4 hours. Been working with our 911 center to push that out as well. So right now we're doing good. Obviously going forward, we're still looking at numbers of EMS, the EMS in crisis situation, as far as numbers available and direction of ambulances and stuff like that. But we're still plugging away at things that way. But we'd like to, I know there's been talk maybe of a task force or something like that. So we're interested in looking at that as we come into 2020.
I think, well, that would be one of my suggestions to the new chairman and the committee would be to maybe have a task force or a subcommittee to look at several of the issues from that you deal with, emergent medical services, fire services, and also the 911 dispatch services. And I think it would be a good endeavor to do something along that line and take a look at it and see how we can best serve our constituents and also the public the best service for the least cost. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Much appreciated. Mr. Perkins, you're up, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I guess being that we're a little out of order, it works out because I'll add on to what Jeff was just talking about, and I haven't even had a chance to tell him yet, but we will be doing a mass distribution in Andover on Tuesday from 4 to 6:30 also. So we just had our fire meeting last night, and that got brought up and discussed then. So I'll send you an email to remind you, but now you know. So back now on to what I'm here for. So with my Stop DWI monthly report. So I did send that along ahead of time. Usually just try to hit a couple things on here. Victim impact panels. The next one we have is scheduled for February 22nd. Back out at the jail public safety facility. So we'll make sure all that's set with the sheriff's office, and we can get out there in time. Space is limited in that spot out there, but we haven't yet approached the numbers for that to where we might have to restrict who's able to attend. So we're just going to roll on as planned here, I guess. I usually bring up traffic safety board and then something else we got going on. So we didn't meet with traffic safety board last month, and Mr. Demick knows that December meeting doesn't often happen unless we got something going. But and then the reporting changed up a little bit out of my office to the state, so that they wanted things digital, and I had to go back and redo the last couple of years of things there. But outside of that, I think the only thing I'm going to leave you with is with a few new people here, and one of them who quite possibly knows this anyway, but DWI is obviously an acronym, but the front half of the Stop DWI program is also an acronym, and that's why it's all capitalized on the reports and anything that comes through. So it actually is Special Traffic Options Program. So that's the STOP and the Stop DWI. So anytime you see things coming out and it's all capitalized, that's why. It's all one big acronym. So other than that, anybody got any questions?
Mr. Rumfeld?
Have you noticed the increase in the DWIs, the trend with the marijuana? I know in Alfred there's way up. Is it countywide or is it just over there?
So I haven't really dug in and broken down those numbers just yet as far as how they're coming in. And actually, the reports that I get, yet anyway, I haven't actually seen them broken down via that. But it's probably something that kind of regionally or in the state program they're keeping an eye on. So, yeah, we've had many discussions in here in the last couple of years, I think, Mr. Healy, about how that might impact the Stop DWI program and what we're looking at, and how marijuana is going to have to be handled a little bit differently because of the way that you can't necessarily field test for it. You can still do impairment tests. You know, they can walk the line and do the speaking. You can tell that someone's impaired, but there's not a definitive. With a blood alcohol, it's if you're 0.08 or higher. There's no way to have that same kind of testing on marijuana right now. So it'll be interesting.
Mr. Healy, sir.
And what is the standard test for marijuana? Do you know?
Actually, I don't actually know right now, and I probably should, but I don't know that we have one, Sheriff, yet that they send off. I don't.
The last I knew, but it's been a number of years, I've been retired from the state police for a number of years, but the last I knew, there was only one place you'd have it done. It was downstate, and it was quite cost prohibitive.
Yeah. Well, and there are drug recognition experts, DREs, that they can call out, but there's very few of those in the area. And it's a pretty intensive course to have a law enforcement officer go to get that training to do, which is, necessary, because if they call someone in to identify the drug that person is impaired with, and they're also going to be called upon in court to testify with 100% certainty.
That'd be a common law.
Yeah.
Right, intoxicated or
Yeah,
impaired,
yeah.
not a,
So,
not a-
you know, they
not a
can-
definitive test such as a
Right.
blood test.
So it's a pretty intensive training, and that's, a whole nother level of stuff, and there's a lot of things that we still got to work out when it comes to marijuana and impairment when driving.
They still take them for blood work at either St. James or Jones. And how bad it was, there was no blood kits. We had to order, Alfred, Andover, Wellsville had to order new blood kits because we ran out. And that's how bad it was since September, I think it was. But the tests get sent to Albany, to the lab in Albany, once they get drawn at the hospital.
Yeah.
Do you know what the turnaround time on that is, Jim?
I do not. I know some of them have been, because of COVID, they blame the delays, but it used to be delayed a lot. With this new discovery, it really presses the issue with getting them back in time.
Yep. And then for anybody that doesn't know, there's also the issue with marijuana and how long it stays in the system. So, I mean, in theory, marijuana can stay in your system for several days, and you might not necessarily be impaired, or you could still be, but it doesn't work the same as alcohol. So how you're handling things is a little bit different.
Okay. Anybody else for Mr. Perkins? Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Director Robert Starks, please. Probation. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the new board members. So you have my report in front of you. If there's any questions, I would like to highlight maybe the last sentence at the bottom. Attended the Allegheny County Peer Program Development Meeting on December 21st. This was a meeting with DCJS, our department, the sheriff's office, and a few of the police chiefs in the county. And there's a discussion to bring some training to the county for this peer support program to provide some help for our first responders, our law enforcement agencies when they respond to some of the incidents that have already been talked about, and how do they debrief and process those. And it's something that I don't believe this county has had maybe ever. I'm not sure if anybody knows if it's ever been before, but I think it's certainly a good thing to for the county to look and move forward. The training, I believe, is going to be free. DCGS had some money available, needed to use it before a certain date in March or something like that. So they're, I believe, going to come to Alfred and provide this training. And hopefully we get many here in the county to attend that. Two of my officers have already completed a crisis intervention peer support, and their services were called to help a couple of EMT responders that responded to an accident. It was like one of their first ones. It was very serious, and they were having some trouble processing. MTS reached out to us. My officers, Carrie Brown and Jessica McKnight, met with them and walked them through that debriefing process, and I think it was very helpful. So I'm glad to see we've got those services, and hopefully that will be available to far more agencies and individuals as people get the training and step forward to to provide that. So I think that's a very good and probably long overdue need in this county. So otherwise, my report is basically it's it's there compared to what you've seen. Those of you who've been here before have seen it. Our PIN intake numbers are up compared to 2020, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with school, in-person school more frequently than it was last year. You can see our investigations are down. The courts are still catching up with individuals appearing in court and orders getting to us, both for investigations and probation supervision cases. So.
Any questions on Mr. Stark's report? Not seeing any. I believe we have some MOEs that we
Mr.
have
Barnes
to
has
process. Oh, there's one right there. That would be Mr. Barnes.
Yes.
Yeah, with your, with those people who have been arrested and given an appearance, a court date or whatever, and they don't show up for their court date, does your department get involved with that at all?
The only time we get involved is if the court puts them under pretrial supervision. So sometimes they'll do that right at the beginning, and we'll kind of monitor them and remind them of their court appearances. Sometimes if an individual doesn't show up to court, and I believe they have to give them multiple opportunities, they may issue a warrant, bring them to jail, and then they might release them to our supervision. So we may on some cases, and a lot of them we don't, because they just get appearance tickets and they're released on their own recognizance.
Thank you.
Mr. Healy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to follow up on that, have you noticed an increase in the number of supervised pretrial releases since they've come up with a no bail reforms?
I've seen more than what I anticipated because on the bail reform, they're supposed to release the individuals with the least restrictions. I wasn't sure how the courts were going to handle that. Least restrictions would have been just a lot of RORs released on their own recognizance. But our pretrial numbers, part of the reason they're up is because cases aren't getting into court, so they're on a longer period of time. So I don't know that we're seeing more put on pretrial. They're just staying on longer because it's taking longer for their cases to be disposed we have one individual that's been on for, we're close to 3 years, I think, aren't we? Yeah, 3 years, waiting for that case to be disposed, so.
But ultimately, that's due to those reforms anyways. And they-
Well, that and COVID, because COVID obviously shut the courts down for a while, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Other questions? Okay. MOEs?
So the first one is between our department and the Catholic Charities of Buffalo. They provide the multi-systemic therapy services through our supervision and treatment services for juveniles program. This is an annual contract. We assumed it from DSS, I believe, a couple years ago. They had had those contracts before, but then they turned it over to us. So it's, just same contract as last year. It's just a little bit of an increase in costs, and those costs have been budgeted in our budget.
Excellent. Do I have a motion? Mr. Harris, second. Mr. Rumfeld, discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Next one.
Okay, the second one is also through the STSJP program, the READY program. They offer mentoring services for the youth that we work with. So they provide an individual to work one-on-one, take the youth out of the home to do activities with and things like that. So that is, again, we've had this contract with them, or this agreement with them, for the past couple of years, and so it's just a renewal basically of that, although the cost has gone up because last year we ran out of money. We weren't able to utilize all their services, so we've increased the cost this year.
Okay, I see that's also been budgeted, so
Yes.
we're all good to go with that. Could I have a motion on this one, please, Mr. Rumfeld? And second, Mr. Healy. Discussion, please. Hearing none, all those in favor say, ooh, wait. Mr. Barnes, God love you.
I see that this organization is based in Warren, Ohio. Is that correct?
That's where their home office is, but they have services here in Western New York. I don't know where, but those folks, I think, work out of it. There is an office someplace. Do you know where that is, Jess? The Ready office? I'm not sure where it is, but they do. But their caseworkers are all here in New York State.
Okay.
That
well,
work
just-
with our youth.
It just
Yeah.
seemed that strange that there'd be,
Well, they,
out
yeah,
of state.
right, they provide services in Ohio as well, but that's where their home base is.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. I believe we have one more thing with a grant, do we not?
Yes, I appreciate you getting this in the last minute. I just got this notice on Monday afternoon. Did not notice it till yesterday morning. We normally, when we've got this grant, we've been notified in the fall of every year. And I kind of was given up hope we were going to get any money this year, but it came in. The grant is $2,141. We had budgeted for $3,693, which is what we've received the past couple of years. But what DCJS does is they go through and they look at the number of ignition interlock cases that each county gets, and then they'll determine the amount of the award based on that. So obviously, our numbers have been down the last couple of years, so the amount of money we're getting has been reduced. So I'm not sure, I let Treasurer Ross know about this. I'm not sure what we need to do in terms of budget-wise, because we did budget more than what we're getting, but we did get something anyways, which is always a plus, I think, so.
A motion. Mr. Harris, second. Mr. Rumfeld, discussion, please. All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Starks.
Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Gilbert Green, sir. Department of Weights and Measures.
I don't know if I can drag my report out as long as the previous ones, but I'll try not to. Good afternoon, everyone. It's pretty short and sweet. December's a pretty slow month. I did have one regional meeting where it was during the day, no overtime required, but it made Mr. Graves very happy.
Any questions for Mr. Green? Okay.
You're
I
welcome.
guess you're in the clear.
Take
Thank
care.
you, sir.
See you next month.
You bet. Sheriff Rick Whitney, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sheriff.
It's always fun to follow Gilbert.
Well, it is. I can see where that might be a thing.
I turned in my monthly report. If you have any questions, I would like to highlight one. We actually now have 4 officers off with COVID. Fortunately, none of them are really sick. It's just basically like a sniffles or something, so they got tested. So we do have 4 off.
Any questions for the sheriff on his report? Getting off easy. Oops, Mr. Barnes. Thank you.
Just asked the same question here several times, but in the past, but I was looking at your daily population of, again, that population, what's the maximum capacity versus what the current population is?
The maximum is 164.
So we're down about 100 below maximum capacity.
Well, I mean, the maximum capacity, that's what we're rated at. Because of the way we have to house different individuals, I would say our maximum is more like probably low 150s, like maybe 153, 154. So yeah, we are down from the max.
As far as budget of outside, other federal prisoners or other county prisoners, I don't know if you have any of those anymore or not, but how's that affecting your budget? Are you about where you expected to be, or are we down from where you budgeted?
Well, we're obviously down from years ago, but I think we're right around where we budgeted. We very seldom get any out of county anymore, but we do still have a pretty good flow of federals.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions for the sheriff? Okay. Are we up to, do you want to go through some of the other reports, the 911 and so forth, or do you want to skip right to the?
If you have any questions on any of them, I'll be glad to try to answer.
Seeing none out there, I think we have some requests to fill position forms
Yes,
here.
I believe the first one is a request to fill a full-time corrections officer.
Okay. Mr. Healy will move that, and Mr. Demick will second that. Discussion, please. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, that's carried.
Thank you.
Next one.
The next one, I feel is a little more important. We have a request to fill our accountant position. Our accountant kind of abruptly left at the end of December, so we're kind of in limbo right now without an accountant. We're doing the best we can, but that we need to fill that.
Absolutely. Mr. Rumfeld will move that, and Mr. Harris will second that. Discussion, please. Mr. Healy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I noticed, it's probably, I'm thinking, just hasn't caught up for all the signatures. The department head has signed off on this, but the county administrator and the personnel officer hasn't, or is it just a little glitch in the system there?
this just made it to the agenda before we signed. We absolutely did sign, and we do want the sheriff to have an accountant. Like you said, that's
Well,
pretty important position.
I thought that was probably the case, but I thought I would check. Thank you.
All right. Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried.
And then I do have a request to accept the grant, the statewide interoperable communications grant.
Okay. I would like someone to move that. Mr. Harris moves that. Mr. Demick will second that. Discussion, please. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you very much, Sheriff. Anything
Thank you.
else you'd like to share at all?
I think we're good.
Very good. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Okay, we're up to old business. New business. Mr. Rumfeld.
I'd like to touch on what Legislator Healy brought up with forming a task force for the EMS. I think it's in dire need, and we need to do it sooner than later. I've been involved, included in the emails with Legislator Harris, Mr. Lucky, and Mr. Lampier, among others, and it is, in case anybody has, EMS is in a bad situation right now. We need to try, we don't have an EMS council in the county anymore, so I just would like to touch on what Legislator Healy said. We do need to do something, whether it's a task force subcommittee, we need to do something. And in that regards, everybody in the committee is invited to the EMS Chiefs meeting Thursday, the 20th at 7 p.m. if you want to meet your EMS chiefs for the county, and if you want them to meet you. But I just wanted to bring up and follow up on Legislator Healy's comment on the EMS council to help with the emergency services.
I think it's a great idea. On the 20th, where's that located, Mr.
Crossroads.
Crossroads, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just want to echo what Legislator Rumfeld said. I agree with him wholeheartedly, and I look forward to seeing this as an agenda item sooner rather than later. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mr. Healy.
We're on the good of the order? Is that where we're at?
We are at good of the order.
Okay.
I'll let you be the first.
First, I want to thank you for your kind remarks at the opening of the committee meeting. And second, I want to welcome all the other new members to the committee. But I would also like to point out that we have not only some new faces, and everybody brings their own perspective and talents to the committee as they do to the board as a whole, but we have two members that have joined the Public Safety Committee that have many years of service in both the fire service and EMS services. Mr. Rumfeld and Mr. Demick both have in the neighborhood of 30 years, maybe more, service and certainly bring a lot of experience and knowledge to the committee. So I want to commend the chairman for his appointments and also thank them for their service and look forward to working with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I can tell you on behalf of this committee, we are delighted to have such talent in our midst. So beware, we're going to use you. Good of the order. Anything else? I would call for someone to move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
That would be Mr. Rumfeld, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are now adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good meeting.